It's Saturday, February 6, 2021. Just checking in with everybody. A beautiful evening here in Palm Desert, California. I just want to make a quick video this evening. Just touch on a couple topics and feel free to comment down below. Such a wealth of knowledge. Also, if you really want to support this channel, if you like this channel, even if you don't like it and want to support it, please subscribe. The best thing you can do is subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up, but subscribe, and share these videos everywhere. I was at Home Depot today and Lowe's, and I don't know about all of you, but do you keep noticing at the grocery store, fast food restaurants, Home Depot, Walmart, Lowe's, etc., more of this self-service checkout going on? They are definitely going to be driving out the cashiers, especially now that we're going to see minimum wage going to $15. Who do you think at the end is going to pay for this? It's going to be the average American, the employee. It's going to be the consumer who will be charged more. But look, if they can replace a human with a machine, a computer technology, robotics, guess what? They don't have to pay benefits. They don't have to pay overtime. They don't have to pay $15 an hour. So all this massive minimum wage increases, all this is going to do, in my opinion, is make the cost of an item go up, even though they'll tell you it's going to make things cheaper, but it's not. It's going to cost you and I more. And it's going to cost people their jobs, and this is what's coming. So be prepared. I'm seeing more of it. Let me know what you think, but literally every store I go to, the grocery stores all have self-checkout now. So we're continuing to see more of this, and I'm not seeing any of the savings, so-called savings, being passed on to the consumer. They're going to tell you and I that prices are going to be less if they're allowed to use computers and robotics and technology for this self-checkout. But I don't see any of that savings being passed on to the consumer. All I see is prices going up, whether that's at Home Depot or at Lowe's or at the grocery store. Everywhere I go, prices are going up. A good article today on CNBC. They went bust in the Great Recession. Now in their 80s, the crisis has taken their jobs. So now we're seeing people that have absolutely nothing saved up for retirement. More than half this country literally has zero saved up for retirement. And the real concerning thing is people in their 70s and 80s, people in their 70s and 80s, 60s, 70s, 80s, gambling in these markets. Many of these people with no savings, no retirement savings. And just like back in 2008, I knew people in their 70s that got completely wiped out during the financial crisis, and they had no way of coming back. They were already in their 70s, and they were forced to go back to work, and there wasn't really any work out there. And so people that had $2 million in the markets got wiped out and had to go back to work and take a minimum wage job. And it's a terrible way to go, but really think about today, how you can prepare yourself, how you can save, how you can hold assets, because the crisis and collapse we're going to see that's coming is going to dwarf what we saw in 2008. 2008 to me was a wake-up call. This is that really has woken me up, and I look back at what happened and how unprepared I was back then. I'm much more prepared today. But many people have already forgotten it. Many people were too young to even know about it. But if you went through it, you should really understand how much worse this one's going to be and the importance of why you need to be prepared, because this one's going to be a lot harder hitting and it's going to last a lot longer. And especially if you're older, you really need to be prepared here, because what are you going to do? If you're 75 years old and you got wiped out, you have nothing to fall back on. And if you're just doubling down, gambling in these markets, if you're younger and you haven't put anything away for retirement or for a rainy day, what are you going to do when things collapse? And I'm just thinking out loud here today, not giving anybody advice. just thinking out loud, and I'm just doing the best that I can because I was completely, really taken off guard back in 2008. I knew something was going to happen. I knew things were going to correct, but I didn't know how bad it was going to be, how much it was going to cost us with artificial injections, 0% interest rates, how much real devastation it's done. And we're limping along right now because of what happened in 2008. We literally just put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, and things haven't gotten better. They've gotten worse because you can't just paper over this kind of financial destruction and think it's just going to go away. We're just continuing to print more money, create more debt, keep interest rates at zero, and just hoping that we can put off the inevitable. And if you read history, you cannot put off the inevitable. You can only kick the can down the road so far. And we are getting very, very close, in my humble opinion, to a dead end. And whether you're 75 or you're 25, you need to be preparing for what's coming. I feel really, really bad for the older generation because they are really going to have a hard time bouncing back. If you're young, you can bounce back. It's easier, but you're more resilient physically and financially. But you cannot wait for the markets to bounce back when you're 75 years old because it may take a decade for that to happen. The president says next stimulus checks will be $1,400. So here we go. More stimulus, more inflation, more money creation, more problems. Friday, the president reaffirmed his commitment to sending $1,400 stimulus checks. Payments won't be targeted to folks making $300,000, he says. So if you're making $300,000, don't expect a stimulus check. Checks will go to those who make up to $75,000 and married couples up to $150,000. If you make over this amount, you will get $50 for every 1,000 over the threshold. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Of course, this will juice the markets. The markets will get a complete sugar high off of this. But who is going to pay for all this? Who's going to pay this back? And what's the price we're all going to pay for more money printing? $1.9 trillion. $1.9 trillion. And they act like it's chump change. Very, very dangerous what's happening. Hedge today. Hyperinflation can happen much faster than you think. And when you look at 1.9, an additional 1.9, this is just the beginning. The next one will probably be $4 trillion. And it's going to go on and on and on until there's nothing left, ladies and gentlemen. They are going to implode the US dollar. And when this happens, we all got very, very big trouble. Your standard of living will collapse literally overnight. And right now, it's collapsing daily. These people out there that believe nothing's happening, that's because obviously they may still have a job right now. But for the millions, the tens of millions of people who don't have a job right now, they're watching their standard of living collapsing right now. It's already collapsed for so many people. And it's going to collapse for a lot more people. When the US dollar finally implodes, and it's imploding every day. Look at what it buys today. It's buying nothing. $1.50 for a candy bar. Yet I can take a Mercury dime, cash it in, and buy that candy bar. You must be holding real assets like gold and silver because hyperinflation can happen much faster than you think. Hyperinflation doesn't affect everyone equally, according to the article either. Just look at history. The winners are those who have gold, silver, foreign currency, land, and other hard assets. The losers are those with fixed income claims, such as savings, pensions, insurance policies, and annuities. Hyperinflation doesn't emerge instantaneously. It begins slowly, then accelerates violently. And we are watching it accelerate slowly. But my fear is one day we're going to wake up and this is going to be a whole different world. If you think it can't happen, look back. You don't have to look back very far. Look back to the US dollar. It suffered 50% inflation in the 5 years from 1977 to 1981. We were taking off into hyperinflation right back in the late 70s, early 80s. Paul Volcker, Ronald Reagan prevented it going into real hyperinflation. It was very, very close. And if memory serves me correct, I think they had to raise interest rates at around 18% back then. Could you imagine if we even raised interest rates to 1% right now? 1%? The markets would probably literally collapse overnight. If this does happen, if we begin to see hyperinflation in America, you will watch pensions be obliterated, your savings be obliterated. People won't be able to get rid of their dollars fast enough. It will be a real nightmare, ladies and gentlemen. If I can stress one thing, prepare yourselves, protect your families before this happens. When serious inflation arrives, it will be too late for tens of millions of people. Everything that they saved up for, everything they literally invested in these markets will be vaporized. Your money will be worthless. It's almost worthless now. But these people who believe that their pensions are going to be here in 10 years, it's very likely that they're not going to be. You'll be lucky if you're getting half your pension, 25% of your pension. Many of these pensions, I truly believe, will not exist in 10 years. And if we do not go back to a gold standard, if our currency is not backed by a hard asset like gold, you can kiss the US dollar goodbye. And the people who are going to win here are the people holding the gold, holding the silver, holding the land, holding the real assets. The people who lose will be the people who holding a lot of debt, people holding a lot of paper, whether that be dollars, stocks, bonds, annuities, you name it. Paper is going to lose here. When things collapse, all that matters at this point is what you're holding, and it better be real. It better not be a promise to pay you back. It better not be a piece of paper. It better not be a piece of debt. You better be holding real assets. So I'm going to wrap it up right there this evening. I just wanted to check in with everybody. I want to thank everybody for watching. And again, if you want to help this channel, if you want to support this channel, make sure you subscribe. Share these videos everywhere. Subscribe, give it a thumbs up. As I leave, really quickly, I just want to talk about the silver market. We are seeing more of a disconnect between the paper silver and the physical, and this needs to happen. And I believe that what we've seen over the past week is people begin to realize that it's important to hold something physically. A lot of people now have been exposed to the silver and gold market, and they're beginning to take notice. So when I look at prices today, random year eagles are $37 to $39. So the paper price is much lower, but the physical price is nearly $40 an ounce for a random year eagle. And I would love to see a disconnect between the paper and the physical. And the more this is being talked about, the more that it's being exposed, the more people are beginning to realize the importance of hard physical assets like gold and silver. The two most undervalued assets in the entire world are no doubt gold and silver, and they are absolutely on sale today. Make sure if you have some. I don't know if these prices are going to hold out or how long they hold out for. I don't know. I would say if you have no silver whatsoever, I would get some. If you have some right now and you're comfortable with what you have, maybe you wait a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and see what happens with the prices. I don't know if it's going to go up or down. I really don't. But what we are seeing now is that silver, especially, and gold have been exposed. A lot of people that didn't know anything about it last week know a lot more about it now. And if you want to gamble a little bit, and if you have some money to risk, maybe you look at mining stocks, gold and silver mining stocks. Very risky, but the upside is going to be huge. Look, I believe it is literally a guarantee that gold and silver are going to continue to go up. They're going to be more expensive by the end of this year than they are right now. And I base that on the massive amount of stimulus that is coming, the next $1.9 trillion that will be injected, and just all of this pure manipulation and the millions of people now unemployed here in America, and the millions more that will be unemployed by the end of this year. Bet against the debt. You can bet against the dollar. You can bet against all of this stimulus and debt creation. Bet against the unemployment. And the way to do it is gold and silver. To me, the more that you disconnect from the system, the more you're hurting the banks. And the banks are the biggest problem here. They have caused the biggest amount of pain and suffering. They are manipulating the gold and silver market. They're manipulating the stock market. They're responsible for the devaluation of the US dollar. They are the main culprit to most of the problems that we're seeing financially. They are literally selling out America daily. So, you got to detach from the system. And I can't stress this enough. Deal with a small local bank and make sure that you're not buying physical gold and silver. Make sure you're buying the physical gold and silver. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. So why aren't you acting like your own central bank? They're going to tell you to go out and get farther into debt and, buy into this fraudulent Ponzi scheme stock market while they're backing up the truck every day, buying gold and silver at these discounted rates. That's what you should be doing. Don't do what they say. Do as they do. They think you're too dumb. But just take a look at what is going on around you. Things are collapsing right now. And I believe that the safest place to be is in real, hard, tangible assets like gold and silver. Buy what's on sale. Gold and silver are on sale. And the only thing that's going to matter when things collapse are real assets, not paper. Have a phenomenal weekend. Look forward to talking to all of you again. God bless you all. Thanks for watching. We'll talk very, very soon.